shop. I've been recording my podcast and I have a cold. My nose is constantly running, and there was just no way that I was going to survive yesterday. So you'll have to forgive me. But, babes, I'm here today. How are you, S? Big up yourself, baby. Um, what am I checking in and saying today? First of all, the mosquitoes are full on attacking me, full on just yamming my legs. Haley, thank you very much, my darling. Big up yourself. But what did I want to share? So if you know that whenever I record my podcast in these different countries, I always find. Are you the one dragging your kids all over Asia? Yes, babes, that would be me. Hi, welcome. Shani, big up yourself, my darling. So normally I get a nanny when I'm recording the podcast, and this time I found like a world schooling place. They are only open on during the week. Hey babes, Zabinski, how are you? I feel like it's been forever. But they were so kind that the ladies who run the place agreed to come in on a weekend so that my girls would not have to go to like a stranger. And I was like, how sweet is that? But they loved it. One thing I will say is that having to get up super early to go made me realize the luxury of not having put my girls like in daycare or school where they have to wake up on demand all the time. If I see it's big, I wouldn't bother trying. If you see, if you see it's big, you wouldn't bother. Are you talking about the straw? What are you talking? Babes, what are you talking about? I was on The Apprentice, baby, many, many years ago. Thank you very much, Bubbles. So, so your comment has confused me now. I'm like, oh, what was big? Anyway, what was I saying? So I was saying it 100% messes with their sleep. Signing with E, big up yourself, baby. How are you? And I've been like, so they just weren't like their themselves. Like this morning, they didn't even eat breakfast because I let them sleep a little bit longer, and I was like, they get breakfast at the place, so I didn't make them eat breakfast with me. But there's just like a sense of grogginess that just I'd never seen before. And so the point is that I got a little glimpse into the world of other people on this whole keeping us like specific schedule and going to school at a specific time, and I just don't think it's for us. I don't think that vibe is for us. I think whilst I have to wake up at particular times, I just don't want to have to force my children. And it's crazy because normally they wake up super early, but I think because they were so tired at night, like by the time nighttime came, it just kind of messed with the flow, right? Um, Hi, pretty night. Big up yourself, baby. Junebug, how are you, babes? Sis, she do artificial. What are you talking about, boss? It's because they're not used to that time. The phone is cracking up. You can barely hear me. What is going on? Why are we always having issues with like connectivity issues? Why can you barely hear me? Can everybody else barely hear me too? How did you get this opportunity of traveling? What do you mean, how? I got on a plane, babes. It's not really an opportunity. Uh, I mean, it's an opportunity, but it's not really an opportunity, if that makes sense. You're hearing me now? Oh, you weren't hearing me before. Advice on how to stay disciplined with the choices you make as a single mom to a daughter. Babe, to be disciplined, you really have to just remember your why. You have to remember your why. You have to be a little bit stubborn. You have to also be honest with yourself when you're not showing up in the best way possible. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. You have to remember that you are essentially raising a human, and get rid of the idea of instant gratification, right? Like, it's going to be hard at times, and that's okay. Um, 865. Where you come from, babes? Are you new? What is going on? The connection is really bad. Oh gosh. Should we call this live? Call it quits? Good afternoon. Hi, Abby, big up yourself, baby. April, please, you know what they mean? I'm so confused. What comment are you referring to? It is an opportunity, however, you're blessed. I admire. but you do. Thank you very much, my darling. In the fridge. Junebug, I love you every time. Sis, you are good. The connection and sound is good. Okay, cool. I was just checking because we don't need to struggle at these ridiculous hours if it's not worthwhile, babes. I could go to my bed. I could get some sleep. Um, so yeah. So I was telling you about the whole to the person that asked you how do you get to travel the way you do. Baby girl, big up yourself. How are you? How is the baby? Are you sneaking in? Are you supposed to be here, babes? Um, as in, because they're trying to find out how do I afford it. A lot is going. I feel like a lot of conversations are happening in one live. It's very confusing for me. Or maybe my brain is just tired. I could be the problem. I am very tired, so I apologize in advance. Evening. I love your videos. Hey baby, Sammy Twami, big up yourself, my darling. The babies say, my darling, you're welcome. Needs to be in every video. They're so cute. They actually really enjoy participating in that. Oh, that's what they mean. You're supposed to be here, babe. Big up yourself. Honestly, I can't complain. I'm tired, but I can't complain. I have one more day in this particular city, and then I booked a flight last week, an impromptu flight. Harvest Moon, big up yourself, baby. I have been to Trinidad. My children have not. I went to Trinidad before their time, but I would love to go for carnival. Not necessarily with my girls, but I'd love to go for carnival. Mr. Red, big up yourself, my darling. You know them girls gonna crush out. Oh God, 865. Surely you have something better to do. If you don't like the vibes, go away. Them love people business. Why does how your food stuff matter? Junebug, you're killing me. Morocco just scored. Okay, big up Morocco. So yeah. So last week I discovered that a particular destination is right next door to where I am, and this destination has been on my list for a while, right? So I booked it last week. I haven't booked where we're staying. We leave on Tuesday. So everybody thinks that like I do these like super advanced planning of spots, and believe it or not, I just don't, right? And a part of that is very much anxiety inducing, but I'm learning to just surrender to the vibes. Trinidad food is so good. 100% Trinidad food is the second best in the Caribbean. Don't fight me about it. Okay, it's all meant with love. You love my parenting. Thank you very much, Megan. Big up yourself. Sarah, how are you, babes? Where's the next country? So, Mr. Red, I always share a little bit extra in on the lives, but I don't share where I'm off to next because there are crazy people on the internet, and we still have to share responsibly, if that makes sense. So I will tell you where the next destination is once we're already there, and it's too late for the crazy people to come and try and track me down and find me. Okay? Um, what are you talking about trying at me? I just see emotional chaos. Babes, I don't even know what you're trying to say. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Indeed, signing with E. You know how we go. Mr. Red, big up yourself. It's the same thing. Like if I do any restaurant collaborations, I've said this before, or hotel collaborations, they always say like you have to post your stories whilst you're on the property, and I'm like, yeah. How about no? How about let us not let people know exactly where we are, because it is the wild wild west out in these streets. But all you guys need to know is that on Tuesday we are going to another destination that I did not previously plan when I booked all of these flights, and I haven't booked the hotel, but I will book the hotel tomorrow, and I think it's going to be very exciting. You have to be careful. You do have to be careful on this internet. We need a group holiday parenting masterclass. I was gonna do I was gonna organize a retreat before the end of the year, but I'm not sure that I'll be able to. And then I was like, oh, do we want a retreat with kids or without kids? I wasn't sure how people felt because my kids are gonna be there, so I wasn't sure if people wanted to bring their children. But yeah, oh gosh, I'm trying to keep two phones alive, babes. April, how are you? Isaiah, big up yourself, my darling. LGTV, hello, good night from Texas. How do you keep up with work and travel? I'm struggling, babes. It is now what time? It is like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know what time it is. But anyway, it's late, and that is how I keep up. Okay, I'm tired all the time. I do not advise it or recommend it. Um, from her, 865 is having some mental issues. Sarah, big up yourself, babes. You know what? I am all for letting people live their best life in these lives, right? Like, I don't censor people, but every so often, people come up in here and other people ask me to block them, and I follow the will of the people. That's all I'm gonna say, Sarah. That's all I'm gonna say. And we are so similar in parenting styles. Babe, big up yourself. I'm a Londoner, so hard to find, organic, but we push through. Amazing that you're making the effort. And honestly, effort is all we can ask for. People will message me, like today somebody messaged me, they're like, oh, I give my child too much bread. I was like, babe, it's okay. She's like, oh, it's the Moroccan in me. I was like, you don't need to justify why you want to give your child bread. She goes, I just don't think that I'm doing it as well as you. And guys, this is never about a comparison, right? Like, I put the vibes out there and I tell people all the time, you take the little bits that you like and you just dash with the rest, right? We want different things, we have different ideas, we have different cultures, and that's cool, right? Like, it's cool vibes, babes. Um, Hey Zavi, big up yourself, my darling. How are you? Shanti, I love your personality and your parenting style. Thank you very much for being so kind. So yeah, we have new destination next week. We film some podcast sessions this week. We are then in another country the following week. And I am making my way slowly back to Jamaica. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to go back home. Hey sis, never mind. I'm just excited. First time seeing you live. Big up yourself, babes. How are you? Gemini, babe. Why are you saying finally? Um, where are we at? Oh, I am just unblocking your message. Are you still in the Tui Blue place? No, baby. You should know that I post my content after I'm out of the country. Again, just to be as responsible and careful as possible. When are you going to wise up? Oh, babes, you just need something to do, my darling. Oh my days, of course. I'm in Jamaica at least once a year, babes, and it is definitely coming up to that time. A part of me would love to be based in Jamaica by the end of the year, but I'm just not sure how realistic that's gonna happen. Hope you enjoy your time. I always enjoy my time, my darling. Thank you very much. Mango time. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there before mango season done. I've been watching your videos for a while. Thank you very much, Rosie. Elusive, babes. How am I elusive? Trying to include some things you do into my life, but I work 2 full-time jobs and it's hard. Rosie, big up yourself. The effort is everything. The mindset says it all. Please do not jack it in over a year and a half, and you will not find me complaining about the heat, okay? Canada is boiling. I mean, people in Europe are literally melting. They don't have no AC. They're just not built for this kind of weather. Max Payne, big up yourself, my darling. How are you? Um, so yeah, there was something else that I wanted to share with you, not just about the waking up early. But I can't remember what it is. I cannot remember what it is. I can't remember. Ah! I shared a post recently where people were trying to encourage others to call child services on me, and I really found it hilarious. Hello from Kenya. Please plan to visit our beautiful country. Babes, big up yourself. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, Max. Harder with my 13-year-old. He's stuck in his ways, but my 7-year-old, there's been major improvement. Babes, we like improvement. We focus on the good. Waking up with God? What? Waking up with God? You like my content? Thank you very much, my darling. When am I coming to Spring Village? Where the hell is Spring Village? In which country is Spring Village? It's 25 degrees at 7:54 p.m. in London. Global warming is real. Isaiah, your reporting of the weather is real. Which side are you carrying in this? Babes, I'm not watching World Cup. I'm not watching World Cup for numerous reasons. I did a Sunday session last week. I went live with a few different guests talking about the World Cup and why representation and who chooses to play for where. And for me, whilst it would be lovely for the World Cup to be an occasion that really brings people together, I think that the World Cup, particularly this year, has become quite divisive. I saw a video today of police basically attacking the Egyptian team that was taking pictures with some fans, and I'm just like, really? I'm just not really here for it. And I just think that, we see time and time again where black players are playing for these European countries, and as soon as they're missing a penalty or as soon as they don't win, all of a sudden it gets extremely racial, and I'm just not here for it, babe. So I'm actually not supporting the World Cup. I'm very sorry. Who are you supporting, my darling? When you come to South Africa again, please visit Port Elizabeth. I've been to Port Elizabeth, actually. I went to Port Elizabeth last year on my way to another safari. Jamaica St. Catherine, Spring Village. I don't know Spring Village, no babes, but I can come to Spring Village. What is there? Why am I coming to Spring Village? How do you feel about firewood saunas and cold plunges? So cold plunges are supposed to be very good for you. I can't plunge myself into cold water. Waking up with God, trying to remember. Morning. No, there was something else. Brazil and of course England. Big up yourself, baby. What else? There was something else I wanted to say. It wasn't about waking up with God. I also don't watch the World Cup for those reasons. Okay, so it's not just me one that is crazy. Lipstick details. Okay, so this color, babe, is it's Charlotte Tilbury. I had to check for another lady earlier today. It's Charlotte Tilbury red carpet red. I hope that's helpful. Jamaica Boilers football game, Camp Verley. Oh, when is this? We can cold plunge in the winter, plug throughout the air. Yeah, I can't really do cold. I'm just not really feeling the vibe on the cold. I wish you'd have a change of heart and come back to England. Why, babe? Why would you want me to come back to England and be miserable? I was supporting Cape Verde, but unfortunately they lost. I saw that they lost, but they won everybody's hearts. Yes, and especially the goalkeeper. I've been seeing a lot about him. Loved your Philippine videos. Thank you. On my must-see list. I'm glad that you like the content, babes. Beyonce dropped a new single. Oh, okay, cool. Cause you're here, Mama came. Big up yourself, my darling. Oh, very interesting. There was something else that I wanted to share, and it's just left my brain. How do you manage to stay so disciplined? I've always been really disciplined, babes. I've always been disciplined. From I was very, very young. I don't find discipline hard. I think I just decide to do things and then continue doing them. I don't really know. Also, I always say to people, give yourself no other option. If you give yourself like a plan B, then the minute plan A gets a little hard, you're just going to be like, oh, let me just go to plan B. Whereas if you only have it in your mind that there's only plan A, then I feel like it helps you be more disciplined. Can't wait to tell my mom that I had a conversation with you. She loves you so much. Big up, Momsy. Big up, Momsy, every time. Love my makeup. Thank you very much, my darling. Someone asked me for a makeup video a couple days ago. I was like, guys, you don't want me to do a makeup video. I barely know what the hell I'm doing. What high school did you attend when you lived in Jamaica? Why are you asking, Brittany? What are you going to judge me for when I tell you what high school I went to? So first high school I went to was Campion. I only lasted 1 term. It didn't work out for me. I was on second shift. It was hot. It was miserable. It was loud. Teachers were coming to class when they felt like it, but they would always remind you about their extra lessons. And then I went to boarding school for a term, the second term for the year, and then after that I went to Hillel and I graduated from Hillel. Hi, I have a question for you. Okay, go ahead, ask it. Really love your videos showing what your kids eat. They always keep me company while I'm eating. Baby, big up yourself. Do you wear makeup around your children? So I did not used to wear makeup around my children up until they were the age of 4. And so basically I would have au pairs or have my sister look after them, and then I'd run out, go put makeup on. And I only wear makeup for television. I don't wear makeup on a daily basis. And I don't ever want my children thinking that they have to get up in order to leave the house. I just think that messaging is potentially quite dangerous. Although I know for some people makeup is just an expression. For me, I want my children to stay children as long as possible. My dad used to always say you have a lifetime to be an adult and one chance to be a child. But now since we've been traveling, because I have to get ready for the podcast a lot of times before the nanny comes, or like when I dropped them off to this world schooling, I didn't put the makeup on first. So I dropped them off, came home, and then put makeup on. But like today I'm gonna pick them up, and obviously I had makeup on, and my children know that if I have makeup on then I'm filming, so they consider it to be a connection, a work connection, rather than like an everyday connection. I don't have any kids yet, but my goal is to educate and raise my kids like you do, babes. Pick up yourself. um, yes, the post about child services. I think that's what I was telling you. I was telling you that these people were encouraging others in a post to call child services on me because my children do not have cake. And for the most part, people understood why I was sharing my thoughts. But some people got a little bit confused, and they were like, well, if you share your parenting style, you have to be open to criticism. I have no issue with criticism. I don't ever need to be right. You know, I feel like a lot of times in life, people are arguing less about the subject matter and more because they want to be right. I have zero desire for the pursuit of someone telling me about being right. So I don't care when people criticize. That is never the issue. The reason I shared the post about people calling child wanting to call child services on me was just to really show how ridiculous the landscape is out in these streets where it comes to people's mentality and food. Because the idea that not giving birthday cake is somehow a reason to call child services is beyond me. It is like beyond my comprehension. And so I was just sharing to really illustrate what some people are actually thinking. Not because I have an issue with like, call the child services, call them. Where are you going to call them? Which country? Where am I going to come from? So I found it deeply amusing, and I think that some people, a small number of people, took that post and they just got a little bit confused, as if I was saying that people can't criticize. By all means, criticize. Say whatever you want to say. But that's not why I shared it. I did another post today that I haven't shared yet, but it was just showing you some of like the real racist comments that I have received quite recently on another post, and again. The reason I shared that is not because I'm offended by the racism. I mean, I don't really know what people want me to do with the racism, to be honest with you, but I share it because I think it's important for people to understand what is going on. Like, if you don't create content and you don't post online, you might not realize the madness that occurs in the comments, because I didn't know that this is how people behaved. And so that's why I share people's comments. It's less about the people and more just to like shine some light on what is going on. Like, I had a live the other day, and the person just kept writing the N-word, writing the N-word, writing the N-word, writing the N-word. And I was like, babes, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm grateful for the engagement. I'm not sure what you want me to do with your comment. I'm not offended by it. I find it a little bit strange. And they said, call me massa. And I was like, okay, whatever, that sounds weird. But the point is that I share these things just to highlight what is happening out in these social media streets, not because I feel the need to like share an offense that I wasn't offended by. Oh, and TikTok is telling me to tell all of you to follow me if you like the vibes, because apparently 72% of you are not following, but you're clocked into the live. TikTok prompts are very strange. Have you guys been receiving the your post is doing 80% better than the other followers that have the same number of followers than you? I'm like, first of all, the posts aren't doing that great, so are we all not doing that great in terms of reach? And secondly, why does it matter? It's a bit confusing, like this weird comparative thing, and I don't feel like it was there before. Many folks suffer with the illness of self-entitlement. They feel they are entitled to tell you how to raise your kids, who to date and not to date, who to worship and how, etc. There does seem to be something going on in the world where people are just a bit strange, aren't they, babes? Would you ever move back to Jamaica? Babes, I want to move back to Jamaica. Like, my ideal situation right now is 6 months in Jamaica and 6 months in Bali, and I just haven't figured out how to make it happen. Jamaica is so expensive. It is so expensive, babes. And you see how I eat food? Like, how am I going to afford the food? It's so funny. As you talk about entitlement, babe, I literally just had a comment where they're like, the babes is quite annoying. Clearly, if you do not like hearing me say babes, my content is really not for you. It's just not for you. I didn't even realize how much I said babes until the people on the internet told me. And it's funny because in one of the podcasts yesterday, this guy, he's from Cyprus, and we were just vibing. And by the end of the podcast, he was like, babes. I was like, babes. We were both like, babes. And he said to me, he goes, I love when you call me babes. It just makes me feel good. He goes, I was a bit nervous, but then meeting you, because he's never spoken on a podcast before, and he's like, but meeting you and you called me babes just made me feel comfortable. I'm like, yes, babes. And then it's okay that it doesn't work for everybody. It is so okay. I just have no idea why anybody would comment on any video of mine and be like, oh, the babes is annoying. I don't, again, what do you want me to do with that? You want me to stop saying babes because you, one, don't like it? It's just very strange. How did you find having an au pair? So when I had my au pairs, I wasn't a single parent, first of all. And secondly, I love having au pairs. I think they're great. They were great for my children's language learning abilities, and I think that whilst you hear some horror stories on both sides, from au pairs with host families and host families with au pairs, I think it is really important to show that you can have a positive relationship with your au pairs. For example, one of my au pairs from like over 2 years ago, she still talks to me. My dad still talks to her. She's still in my family, and I've just hired her as my assistant. So you can definitely find the right au pair for your family. How do the kids connect it to Jamaican culture? Very good question, babes. I did a video quite a while back talking about the things that I do to make sure that my children know that they're Jamaican. We have our daily affirmations, and the second affirmation is I am Jamaican. They obviously see my pendant every single day of my life, and they know that this is the island of Jamaica. They asked me the other day, why do I wear it every single day? As you might have noticed, I'm always trying to rep some Jamaican nails just so that the constant reminders in their environment. My dad speaks patois to my children all the time. They will correct me. If I say that they speak 2 languages, they will correct me and say that no, they speak 3 because they speak Jamaican patois. They will explain to people when they ask what is Jamaican patois, they will explain that it is a mix of English, African languages, a little bit of Spanish, because they've heard me explain to other people. In terms of the national anthem, we sing the national anthem every single day in the morning, like we used to do for devotion. Some people said that that was weird. I don't think it's weird. When I went to school in Jamaica, we sang the national anthem every day at the assembly. So I wanted to do that for my children. Big up yourself, Ruby. What else? They listen to a whole heap of reggae music. That is the genre to more than any other genre of music. Obviously, food-wise, we eat cassava, we eat pumpkin, we eat steamed fish. Today, Maya said to me that she had some chilies, but they were not as hot as the Scotch bonnets. I said, check you out knowing about the Scotch bonnets, babes. When I can get plantain, we eat plantain nearly every day for breakfast. We eat pear. We eat everything Jamaican. Like everything that we can, they eat Jamaican food all the time. And those are the main ways that I make sure that my children are connected to Jamaica. To be honest with you, they probably think that they are born in Jamaica, because if you ask them where they come from, they immediately say Jamaica. The next time I'm home, I will be getting their passports. Unfortunately, their birth certificates had got wet in the flood in Bali last year, but I've reordered them, so I will make sure that they have their Jamaican passports. I'm very excited. I agree with kids shouldn't have the amount of sugar that's given to them. Vanessa, yes, makeup can make them think our own skin isn't good enough. 100%. So when I won Miss Jamaica Universe, I did not know the difference between foundation and powder. That is not an exaggeration. I had previously worn makeup once for my high school graduation, and I had worn makeup again when I won Miss Jamaica UK before that. But I hadn't applied makeup. I didn't own makeup when I won Miss Jamaica Universe. I was not a makeup girl. at all. I still am not a makeup girl, to be fair, but my point is that my dad always instilled in me the value of your character rather than your appearance, and so like makeup just wasn't a thing. I love your way of parenting. I want to become a mom one day. What sugar substitutes do you use, babes? I don't use sugar substitutes. I happen to think that it is not necessary. So yeah, so I don't have sugar alternatives, my darling. But I do know many people use date syrup. Many people will use honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar. There's lots of better refined sugars, if that makes sense. Um, and in one of your videos, you mentioned milkshakes was a childhood nostalgic thing. What age do you think you will give them some desserts, not necessarily lots of it? Really good question. Initially, I had thought around 5, but we're 5.5 now, and I just don't see myself giving them sugar right now. So it really depends. We've introduced other things to their diet that they didn't have before. So for example, dried fruit, they weren't allowed dried fruit before. They now are allowed dried fruit. They weren't allowed bread before. They're now allowed bread as long as it is freshly baked. They weren't not allowed pasta before. They are now allowed pasta. So we're slowly introducing different things, and I will take it slow and see how we get on. But I'm in no rush, babes. I'm in no rush. So true. I'm not sure what is so true, but I'm glad that you agree. Please, how old would you let your twins have makeup? Not before 16 at all. Yeah, the makeup thing. I don't believe in this thing about like children wearing makeup. You suggest honey for a substitute, babes. Ruby suggests honey for a substitute. Hi, babes. You're watching from Trinidad. Big up yourself, my darling. Have you ever tried? No, I've never tried food from Tanzania. Actually, I don't know anything about food from Tanzania. Teach us, baby. I wrote my question a bit separate, but I'm really curious of your answer. I hope I answered them. Hey, Sabrina, big up yourself, babes. You absolutely love babes. Sid, thank you very much for understanding the vibes. Jamaica is so expensive. Honestly, Jamaica is so expensive. I go to Coronation Market and it's still not cheap, no babes. But I do love Coronation Market. Like I love the vibe. I get so much joke. Like people are like, oh, it's too scary to go to Coronation Market. Stop it. Stop it. There's nothing scary about Coronation Market. Okay? I'm joking, like with all the vendors telling stories. I love it. I just love the energy. Why you always have on lipstick? I do not always have on lipstick, babe. I have on lipstick for desserts after dark because it's desserts after dark. You know, I have to bring the vibe. But no, I don't always have lipstick on. How and when did you transition from the traditional Jamaican food? I don't even understand what that question means, babes. My favorite is my darling, you're welcome. Big up yourself, my darling. Can't stand people's inclination to treat content creators like Sims. I used to love Sims, by the way. Au pair, what is that? Au pair is a young lady, usually a young lady. Sometimes they do have male au pairs too, but usually a young lady that lives with you and helps you look after your children. And she tends to be from a foreign country, so it tends to be some sort of cultural exchange. How many hours a day are you on your phone? I don't even know this question, but okay. Are your children mixed? Yes. Hello, I'm from Jamaica. Right, raise your children the way you. Oh, don't listen to all of these people. Thank you very much, my darling. Which high school did you attend? Why everybody want to know which high school I attended? I went to Campion for 1 term and then I finished up at Hillel. Um, Lucia, big up yourself, my darling. Even 8-year-olds are wearing makeup. Yeah, it just doesn't sit well with me, but it's never sat well with me. I used to have cousins who would wear makeup when I was younger, and I just didn't really understand it because that's not how our household was. But you know, to each his own. It's just not for me and my girls. Like they won't be having nail polish. You know, I see little girls with nail polish. It's also not that thing. I just think for me, when you are allowing your child to do these activities, it implies that those things are important. And to me, those things aren't important. What do you think of an 8-year-old wanting to wear? I think you're saying makeup. I understand why an 8-year-old may want to, but I don't think just because you want to, that means you should. I watched your fruit birthday cake and I'm inspired. What fruits do you recommend, babes? To this year, they asked for this cake, right? And it just wasn't as pretty. The girls didn't care because this time they were involved in making it. Like last time, I made it in secret and then brought it to them. But this time they were asking for this watermelon cake, watermelon cake, watermelon cake. So I was like, okay, cool, let's make it together. And then I was in a country that just didn't have berries, right? And it did not come out right. It was like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I felt pressure. The first time I made it, I did not expect it to be so pretty. So I didn't feel any pressure. This time I felt pressure, and then I was trying to keep them involved. Then I didn't have toothpicks. It was a flipping disaster. I haven't even shared it online, but I'm going to share it eventually because, all in the name of authenticity. But having said that, I can recommend that berries are the way to go. Berries make it super simple, really easy, and like just get fresh little mint sprigs, but just the tops, and it will look stunning. Okay, if you need to cover a large surface area, I would recommend grapes on the vine because you can just like make it look good. But yeah, berries are the way forward. Stay away from things like mango. I can tell you by experience. Stay away from things like dragon fruit. I can also tell you by experience. Anything that you need to slice thinly to lay on the outside, just save yourself and don't do it. I'm from Haiti and I don't use sugar for my household. It is such a clarification way of living. Pick up yourself from Haiti, babes. Partout foncé aussi. Um, where are we at? I googled your name because of Miss Jamaica UK. Why were people posting about you and Usain Bolt? I don't know why people were posting that, babes. You have to ask the internet. I saw you and your kids don't have tantrums, but if they do something wrong, how do you punish them? Oh gosh, it scrolled up. How do you punish them? I think you're asking. So when my children were very young, I don't believe in punishing. I don't think that little people really understand punishment. So I would talk about my approach, which is really natural consequences of things. So yes, you speak Creole, babes. Big up yourself. And we are no longer calling our native languages broken. So I will never call Jamaican patois broken English, and you will not call Haitian Creole broken French. Okay, babes, there's nothing broken about it. And I mean that with love. I hope you know that I mean that with love. In terms of, yeah, punishment. So I don't really do punishment, I do natural consequences, right? So, for example, if I tell you to stop playing with a cup of water and you dash the cup of water all over the floor and it wets your book, then I don't need to punish you because you can kind of see the consequences of your action is that you tipped over the water and you did so without thinking about what I was saying, and therefore your book got wet. No more calling it broken. A really good example of this is a couple nights ago, Maya wet the bed, and after we read, I always say go to the bathroom. She insisted that she had gone to the bathroom before she read, so she didn't need to go to the bathroom again. So I said to her, okay, no problem. I didn't argue with her. I don't need to argue with you. I'm not arguing with a 5-year-old. And she went to bed and she wet the bed because she did not go to the bathroom after the book. So in the morning, I said to her, do you understand what the problem was? And she said, yes. I said, you do understand that the problem was not that you had an accident, because accidents happen and that is fine. But the problem is, and I stopped and I let her finish the sentence, and she said, the problem is that I ignored you when you told me to go to the bathroom after we read. And I said, precisely. So the next time I tell you to go to the bathroom after you read, what are we going to do? And she says, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And since then, every night, she goes to the bathroom and I tell her to go to the bathroom. So I don't feel like you need punishment for most things because I think life kind of teaches you. I think what you do need to do is make sure that you are highlighting those teaching moments so that they are not lost. But rather than focusing on the punishment, I think we should focus on the lesson that could be learned. What extracurricular would you put them into? So when we were in Bali, they were doing gymnastics, which they loved. When we lived in England, they were doing swimming since they were 4 months old every week, and they were also doing tennis. That came later. They started surfing the other day, so they're really into surfing at the minute. But a part of the reason why I feel like we need to stop our nomadic lifestyle by the end of the year is for extracurricular activities. It is very hard to maintain extracurricular activities when you are on a plane every week. I'm 18, but I really love how you raise your children. Babes, big up yourself and enjoy your childhood and early adulthood and just all the things. It's okay not. Is it okay to not want to have children? I love kids, but I don't want to have them. Of course, it is okay not to want to have children, babes. It is amazing that you know that you don't want to have children. I like, to me, it is better to know that you don't want to have children rather than you have children that you feel obligated to have, and then you're miserable in your parenthood and your child just suffers as a result of it. Please, mom taught us from young that makeup ages the skin 100%. I'm going to Jamaica and only going for street food because of you. Trinidad here. Big up yourself, babes. It is all about the street food. Send me a message. Let me know when you're going and I will tell you my favorite spots. What are some of the things that your children might do wrong and how do you treat the situation? I'm guessing you asked that before I gave the example, but let me know if you need more examples. Is there any food that your twins don't like? Yes, durian. So they tried durian in Malaysia. They were not a fan. However, they have since said several times that we need to try it again, which I'm very proud of. Um, where are we going? Black and knees, big up yourself, my darling. Alyssa, I like the take of telling kids it's not needed to look pretty, but to look fancy. I hear you, baby. That is very good advice. Honey, thank you. You're welcome. I'm not sure why you're saying thank you, but you're welcome, baby. Scrolling through. Oh, Lord. Hi, Kyra. Big up yourself, baby. I feel like it has been forever. I love your lifestyle of no sugar, no hate, but like, would you, when they get older, 100%, honey, when they are older, they will be allowed to indulge in some sweeter things. We're just not there yet. What did you do then if you don't punish? Jen, I'm not sure if you heard the example. Let me know. I do take a little while to get to the comments, so it is definitely a me problem, not a you problem. But let me know if you need more examples. What if your kids my children never disrespect me in public? Never. I genuinely don't. People ask me this all the time. They're like, what do you do if your children don't listen? My children always listen. I don't really understand. Like, when I leave room for option, so me giving the go to the bathroom example, if I had said, Maya, you have to go to the bathroom now, she would have gone. But I don't feel the need to always put my foot down. I put my foot down when it really matters. When it doesn't really matter and I'm happy for you to learn by yourself, then I don't put my foot down. But the idea that my child would ever disrespect me in public is bizarre. Like, under what circumstances would this ever happen? Like, what kind of disrespect? I just don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. And in terms of my children listening to me, I've said this before, but just in case you haven't heard it, I have invested in the relationship with my children, right? The whole no screen thing initially started off for them, but then I realized very quickly that the no screen thing made me a better mother, but it also made our relationship so much tighter, right? And my children trust me. They trust what I say to be the truth. They trust me, and trust is super important. And I think that for the most like scenarios where disrespect may occur, you would never disrespect someone that you trust. I don't understand. And babes, I like my when my children are doing something they should not be doing, and something minor, like let's say they stand up on a chair where I don't think they should be standing on a chair in a restaurant. That's a good example, right? They have a tendency to take off them shoes, so they might stand on a chair for something. Let's say them stand on. I will just look at them. I don't even need to speak. I don't even need to say anything. I just need to look, and they know. Sit down, right? Like if they're doing something at a restaurant that I think is inappropriate behavior, I will ask them, do they not know how to behave in a restaurant? And immediately they go back to behaving how they know they're supposed to behave. Yeah, this disrespect thing is madness. Tips to stop eating refined sugar: take it all out of the house. Make the threshold for sugar very high. So for example, I was gonna do a video about this because people are always saying like, how do you stay thin if you're eating all these desserts, blah blah. And the fact is that my threshold for the things that I enjoy that contain fast food. I don't like the smell of fast food. I'm not eating fast food, which so many people don't understand when they're telling me that, oh, I need to take my children to McDonald's. Like, why would I do that when I don't eat McDonald's? The other thing is, I don't like biscuits that came from the supermarket. Like, as much as I love a freshly baked cookie, I'm not eating any biscuit that came from the supermarket. I don't like cake that came from the supermarket. I just don't like things that come from supermarkets, right? So when I feel for something sweet, it has to be a little bit more artisanal, a little bit more patisserie, less Tesco, if that makes sense. And so because the threshold is higher, it means that I'm not just sitting around eating these things because you have to go out of your way to get them. But my advice to you, if you want to stop eating refined sugar, especially as an adult, is take all of the refined sugary products out of your house. Go cold turkey, babes, go cold turkey. Hi, Chef, big up yourself, baby, how are you? Do you live in Jamaica? No, baby, I have not lived anywhere from January 2025. So each month we are in a different country, and each week we tend to be in a different city. No, baby, I'm not in Manila. I left the Philippines ages ago. I'm pregnant with my first child. I come from an angry household full of trauma. How do I make a safe space? I'm guessing you mean for your children. I would just say communicate, and then communicate some more. Was it easy for you to learn French? No, I don't think it was necessarily easy. I have very good memory, but I don't think it was necessarily very easy, and I'm still always learning, and I always feel like my French is just not good enough. Nana, why are you saying wow, babes? Yes, safe space for your child is to communicate, to be honest, to be open, to put your hand up when you're wrong, and to breathe. Like, just slow down, 100% slow down. Hi, April. I remember you from Three Little Birds. Big up yourself, babes. How are you? Kyra, it's been a while. I hope you've been well. I want to adopt kids instead of bringing my own into the world. People disagree with adoption. Do people disagree with adoption? Why? I think adoption is a beautiful thing. Oh, living in different city each month. Yes. Love your content, even though I'm not a mom. Big up yourself, my darling. I love how you are always rocking your hair. I have complicated relationship with my babe. I did my hair like this out of laziness. I mean, this particular podcast season, I just could not be bothered to twist my hair every night and take it out. I couldn't be bothered to straighten. I just couldn't bother to do anything. So this is my lazy hairstyle, but still trying to not look like a tramp. What age do you think that a child should have an iPad? My boyfriend thinks the age of, I think you're saying 3. Babe, my children will not have an iPad for a very long time. I'm more inclined to get them a computer before an iPad, and you might be thinking, what's the difference? I think that the iPad and it being so easily portable just makes it a little bit too easy, if that makes sense. So yeah, my kids probably won't have an iPad for a very, very long time. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. It's not something I've thought about, but it's not happening anytime soon. You need to come to Trinidad and try doubles. Babes, I've been to Trinidad, okay? I've had doubles, thank you. I've had bus up shot. I've had curry chicken. I've had Trini food, and I know that it tastes good, babes. As I said at the top of this live, you guys have the second best food in the Caribbean. I want to cut out sugar, but my family keeps buying it, and it's hard to cut it out completely. Babes, stay focused. Are you religious? It's not offensive to ask at all. I'm not religious. I tell people all the time that I have so much respect for people's faith, but I am just too ignorant, babes. I don't know enough to be religious. Petal, big up yourself, my darling. How are you able to go to a new country every month? Booking the flight and getting on the plane. I've seen you a lot of things. Timeline, I'm not sure what you're saying, baby. Many people say that in adoption it's not the same connection as having your own child. You know what? I see strangers all the time and I feel like I can deeply connect with them. I think as long as you are an empathetic human and you truly are able to care for people, you will have no issue connecting with a child that you have adopted. I think it's ridiculous. If I had lots of money and like a husband, I would love to adopt loads of children because I think it's a beautiful thing. half of my 16-year-old got her first phone just, oh, not half, sorry, one of two. Thanks, sorry, babes, I'm tired, forgive me. My 16-year-old got her first phone just before his birthday, not for his birthday. It had rules attached, and it's been the best decision we made to hold off until much older. Babes, big up yourself, it's definitely my vibe. How do you manage to stay financially stable whilst traveling? My income is a few things. My podcast is monetized, so I get income from that. I sell parenting courses. I have 3 parenting courses. One is parenting in general from 0 to 5. The other specifically focuses on food, and the third specifically focuses on tantrums. I also coach parents privately, one-on-one sessions, and I have a children's book. It's very sweet. So yeah, so that's how I manage. Funny story, I got kicked out of Sunday school at age 9 for asking too much questions. Your mom was mad. What's the meaning of this? I don't know. What's the meaning of what? I'm veggie and will feed my babies meat. I'll baby led wean, but I'm a bit freaked out about handling it. Babes, don't be freaked out. It's fine. Just make sure that whatever you're giving them is big enough that it's not going to go down a windpipe, and you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, lovely people. I have been. Oh, one more. The best training wheels to cut off sugar is to eat what God created, not man. Fruits, honey, etc. And don't put sugar in your shopping cart. Yam is sweet, plantain is sweet, watermelon, and so on. I could not agree more, babes. I live in Germany, and most 12 to 15-year-olds do makeup and have phones already. It's awful. Yeah, that's not my vibe. When I was in England and I saw the way girls were going to school, I was deeply confused. Fun fact, in South Africa we have 12 official languages. I did not know that, and I just came from South Africa. So thank you for the education. On that note, lovely people, I have been on here for about an hour. It is very late, past my bedtime, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. I will do my best. Oh no, tomorrow we are doing the live from the podcast. So we are talking about a controversial topic, which is old Western men going to the Philippines and finding these young ladies. I have different guests coming in to share their thoughts, and that will be, oh, I don't remember which time now. I don't remember which time because of the time difference. I want to say UK time is around 5 o'clock. I want to say that, and I want to say that US time is around 12 o'clock. But don't quote me on that. I'll make sure to share the link on my community board on TikTok. We are talking about the passport bros, babes. So we're gonna share that on TikTok, and I'll share it on the community board. I'll share the link so that you guys can connect, and hopefully some of you can join me. On that note, lovely people, I'm going to go and get ready for bed, wash off my face, wash the body, and go sleep. Thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully you can do the same again tomorrow. Big up yourself. Bye.